you know, really first just want to thank really the city of Macon, right? We had family day today, all the students and their families that came out. We had a tremendous crowd. There was great energy. You could feel it on the Bear Walk and the concert series and just all the stuff leading into the game. And that's a massive home field advantage for us. So I really appreciate the community coming out and supporting our guys. As far as the football, just really, really proud of our kids again. You know, we all kind of had this, you don't want to put anything more into a game than you need to, but I bet if you straw pulled everybody in that locker room that was on this team last year, they had this one circled as one we wanted to play well in. And so I know I certainly did, and we wanted to play downhill, we wanted to play fast, we wanted to play physical, and we, you know, all week we always talk about doing your 111th, but we had to win. As slow as we started last year, we had to win the first 4 minutes and the middle 8 and the last 4, and I thought we did that today. You saw our defense. Again, I think Jimmy Long's the best defensive line coach in the country. Coach Brown put together a great game plan. Other than a couple big plays, you know, we tied a school record with 12 tackles for loss today. We had 7 sacks, which also ties a school record. And those guys were just, they were on and they were on early. And then our offense was in rhythm and on time. Braden Atkinson continues to play at a really high level for a true freshman. He was 22 of 35. He had 365 yards, and he tied a school record with 5 touchdowns today. And then, you know, due to some injury and some other circumstances, you know, we were a little bit running back by committee. And, you know, we had a walk-on wide receiver today. Ty Dowdy came in and played running back. Now, he's a guy that's been playing for us on a bunch of special teams. He's done some stuff in the return game for us. But that young man came in and played running back today and did it at a really high level. He went for 105 yards total. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. He had another 77 yards receiving. He had a big touchdown and really was a game ball guy for us today in terms of just an impact player when we needed it most. You know, specific guys on defense. Drew Clare played really well. He had 12 total tackles. Excuse me. Isaac Prince had 10. Julian Fox had 10. True freshman defensive tackle. Ian Johnson Kelly had 6. He also had a sack and a half, sack and a half. But we were in their backfield a bunch. I thought we dominated the line of scrimmage today. Again, just a couple big plays. But all in all, that was a dominating win. I'm really proud of our players.
So talk about a little bit more about the running back room. Obviously, we saw CJ without pads the second half, like a bell in a hat. But given it's a Ty Dowdy, basically almost like a Ty Montgomery, Cordero Patterson kind of situation, but it's a wide receiver playing running back. Just talk about his athleticism. I felt like he was almost playing like pinball out there.
Yeah, well, I think, again, the thing with Ty is Ty's got the body type to be really successful at what he does. He's a tremendous high school football player. We recruited him because he was a great athlete. He was tremendous in the return game coming out of high school. So, you know, you knew you were getting a bit of a Swiss Army knife in what you were getting. And, man, just the way he ran the ball. And, you know, obviously when the running back succeeds and runs well, Billy Martin ran the ball hard today. J.P. Pickles had a couple tough runs in there. And so, you know, there's guys that did things well, but, you know, Ty just, I can't say enough about how he ran the ball. I can't say enough about his ball security. Again, I know Samford's record is what it is. I still think, you know, I think number 5 for them is as talented of a linebacker as in this conference. And so, you know, again, just really proud. We have 557 yards of offense today, so proud of our kids, and Ty was a massive part.
Billy's also a walk-on too, so you know you guys had a lot of walk-ons making big plays.
We did.
As a former walk-on yourself, just like talk about, you know, the type of energy these guys have when they go to practice, when they're on the sideline, when they get into the game.
Yeah, well, and I don't, like, listen, man, you can't even talk about that stuff anymore, to be honest with you, when, you know, there's only 105 guys on the roster limits. And so, like, with them limiting, most teams have been functioning around 120 to account for injuries and red shirts and all the things. But now that we're all hardlined at 105, and then, you know, maybe you have a little bit of attrition, you get right around 100, you have a couple guys injured, and that thing gets down into the 80s real quick. And so, again, I don't care if they're on scholarship or NIL or whatever. If you can contribute and you're doing things the right way, and you're contributing to the team on and off the field, you deserve the opportunity. And Ty Dowdy was that young man today. Billy Martin was that young man today, and just really proud of those kids. They're a massive part of our win.
It's kind of unrelated to this, but is that kind of how you're building your roster now as a coach, going out to get these Swiss Army knife guys who can do a lot of different things and help build your roster out in different ways?
It's always good to do more things, right? Like, if make yourself indispensable, right? And I learned that as a graduate assistant. The more things you could do, the more they got to keep you around. And if you can do them all at a really high level, then, you add tremendous value. And so, you can't be all in on there. You still have to have specific things, especially like height, weight, and size at certain positions. But certainly as you get towards the back end of that roster and you're evaluating kids, guys who can do multiple things, whether it's linemen who can play all, a couple different positions up front, whether it's a guy like Ty who can play running back, play wide receivers, can be active in the return game. There's so much value in being able to do multiple things.
And I don't think we've talked enough about Braden Smith, hometown kid, having a heck of a game. Just how have you felt that wide receiver room has progressed as the season's gone on?
Again, I felt coming into it from just a pure talent standpoint, it was going to be one of our deeper rooms. And, we've had a couple, we had a few 100-yard games, but what you're seeing is you're seeing a ton of guys involved, right? I mean, we had 3 different guys with 4 catches for over 60 yards today. And so, we're getting everybody involved. Malik Simmons played well today in extended action, finally at tight end. He had a big catch early in the game. And then, he continues to improve blocking. You saw a huge play to Sam Albee. So, what you see is a young offense continue to evolve. And again, I give all of our coaches a ton of credit for, doing what our kids can do and developing game plans that they feel comfortable with and feel that they can execute at a high level.
You talk about Coach Folkerts a lot on the offensive line. I think I saw him and Blake Martin chest bump, and Folkerts fell to the ground. Did I see that correctly?
I didn't see it, but I'm going to try to find it on film now. We may have to put that in the highlight clip tomorrow.
That might have been one of the clearest things I've seen.
That's two large humans.
That it for you, Vance?
You got a couple.
Yeah. Well, you already mentioned the play to Albee. I mean, you talk about starting fast, and then the first possession's kind of but then you get like a huge, just awesome explosive play. How happy are you with that as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm as long as the ball goes in the end zone, I don't care if it takes 18 plays and 3 yards at a time or if we get them all in one. But listen, Sam's a guy that's been a big part of this program, and we haven't, the tight ends haven't had a ton of catches their way or balls come their way yet, but when he had an opportunity to make a play, he obviously showed that he can run. He's been tremendous for us blocking, right? Like that no-sack game today, that no-sack game last week, that's not just the O-line. That's the running backs that play. That's the tight ends. That's the wide receivers digging safeties out in the run game. So, it's really all 11. And, but yeah, happy.
Yeah. Another great performance against the run today. Now, obviously, they had to pass more as the game went on because of the score, but how proud are you guys? How proud are you of the guys doing that 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, I mean, listen, since the day I stepped foot on this campus, it's run the football, stop the run. I believe championships are won at the line of scrimmage, period. And if you can force people into being one-dimensional, we got guys who can go get the passer. And so when you're playing from ahead, when you're going to get a few more balls thrown. But listen, they had 37 rushes for 61 yards. We had 37 rushes for 192 yards. And so it's not like they gave up on it after 10 tries. Same thing last week. They had 33 for 66, I think. And so that's consistency. And again, there's times where there's as many as 3 true freshman defensive linemen in the game at one time. And all the defense is playing really well right now.
One more question I had. It seems like Samford tried to speed you guys up on defense, even early in the game, even when they went down by 2 or 3 scores. What was kind of the adjustment that you guys made, and just kind of keeping the trenches secure and the back end just the same way?
Again, it all goes back to our preparation. Jamal Brown, Jimmy Long, Sean Chafee, Chris Vega, Ezekiel Combs, those guys on our defensive staff. And then it really is a tribute to our scout team guys. And we do scout team stuff a little bit differently. A lot of times our 2s service the 1s, so we can coach guys and get a better look. Teams usually have traditional scout teams, and they banish them down to the other end of the field, and that's not the way we do it. And so that group and the pace that they practiced at forced us into getting great looks. And again, that's 2 weeks in a row that they've helped prepare us. And I didn't think we were really rushed or pressed much at all today. We were able to get the call in, get lined up for the most part, and the players will tell you I'm big into loaded stances. It's a readiness, and it could be everybody's loaded stance is different at every position, but it just signifies to me that you're not standing out there like you're waiting online for a bowl of soup. Your knees are bent, you're in a football position, you're ready to go.
And one thing that stood out to me at the end of the game when you guys were up, JP Pickles got some snaps. Would you have maybe played DJ Smith a little bit more, or if you guys get in that situation again, would you give him a little more playing time?
Yeah, again, some of his DJ had been in, or excuse me, JP had been in the game and playing some. You know, he's been utilized in a couple different ways. We want to get him a few more full series in there, like DJ's played, and we know, and you know, that's just that room in general, and really everybody with the redshirt stuff. I mean, listen, man, it's week to week right now as I talk about the rosters and whoever's ready. But JP had been in, want to get him a couple full series and kind of see where he could go with that.
Coach, one I didn't tell you about, Reese Griffith, 109th extra point made today, breaks the school record. He's 4 points away now from our all-time scoring record. Talk about how, I know you talk about growth on your team, but talk about Reese and the offseason work he did and how important, like, as a kickoff specialist.
Yeah, all those specialists, you know, they all have their own kicking coaches. I mean, it's a very specific thing. I can point them in the right direction, but I can only teach them so much. And those guys have some, and they've always worked with them. But I think what's been impressive, or what I was most pleased with Reese, was his commitment to be here all summer and not just kick, but his work in the weight room. He attacked the weight room, and again, time and time again, it's not just the extra points, it's not just the field goals. It's you see us putting the ball in the end zone and kickoff coverage, which is why we're one of the better coverage units in the country, and that's a testament to the work that he put in the weight room all summer. So proud of him.
Now you're 5 games in, just 2 sacks allowed by your offensive line. Talk about the growth of that unit.
Again, Brian Folkerts has done a great job. I couldn't be more proud. That group is really coming together, and they had to. If you're going to play a young quarterback, you got to keep his jersey clean. And for him to have the confidence in the way that those guys are playing, I'm really proud of that group of people right now. That, you know, it's Amari Atchison at left tackle, it's Jamari Freeman at left guard, it's a combination, true freshman Gavin Marks and Blake Martin at center, and then Tyler Murray, who's Mr. Consistent, and Xavier Jennings. Those guys have played tremendous up front. And again, not just them, our tight end room, our running back room, everybody has a piece in that no sacks, but they have grown leaps and bounds since that UC Davis game.
And you finally get to step out of conference for the first time since game 1. I mean, and then you have a bye week after that before you step back into conference. I mean, what do you look for your team these next couple of weeks? I know you don't take Princeton lightly because they're a good team.
No, not at all. They're a great team, and it's a tough place to play. You know, they played in the very first college football game. So for all the history buffs, and it's going to be a cool experience to travel up there. We don't have many trips that we take flights for. So, you know, I look forward to enjoying this for 24 hours, coming in, putting it to bed tomorrow after the morning, and then you know, we'll be full steam ahead, trying to have our best week of practice yet. And then, you know, the bye week's a bye week. We're going to try to recover as much as we can, and you know, we'll do some recruiting during that time as well. Good. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks. Yep. Oh. Media. Good job, dude. Huh?
I just talk about your day, your breakout day for you. Just talk about how you felt out there today.
I mean, it just feels amazing. Coach Jones put me like in the best position possible with the time we had, and just super thankful for him. Thankful for my teammates, always pouring into me, telling me next man up, and just believing in me. That was a big thing for me, and of course God. All glory to God, and just super thankful that he put me in this position, and that I was able to execute when I could. For sure.
Ty, how's it going, man? You
What?
all right? I said, how you doing? You
I'm
good?
doing pretty good.
So,
Yeah.
Just, I guess talk about today. You know,
Yeah.
you're on the sideline. Were you expecting to have an increased role, or was it just because something came up with CJ and you were just like ready to go? Just walk me through it.
Honestly, like, I had no idea how it was going to look. I didn't know if that was going to give CJ, like, all the reps or how it was going to look. But like Coach says, always be ready, and so that's what I was trying to do. And, again, just thank you to the Coach Jones, Coach, all the coaches, really. Coach Fig pouring into me as well. And just the O-line, a big shout-out to the O-line as well, man. I mean, they put me in a great position to make things happen and couldn't have done it without them, so.
So in high school, were you a true running back, a true wide receiver? Where did you play?
I was a true receiver, but I did play some running back, and Coach Truitt, he taught me a little bit of running back, so shout out to Coach Truitt if he ever sees this. But Yeah, I played a little bit of running back, played quarterback, corner, so I kind of just played everything.
So coming in here as a freshman and as a walk-on,
Yeah.
just and then having a game like this, is this something you ever would have thought of achieving in your first year?
I mean, honestly, like I said, glory to God, and I know God, He puts people in different situations, either to test them or to grow them, and I feel like, I was put in this situation, and I never doubted like my skill level, and I just had to show it, and so that's what I'm trying to do.
We were talking with Coach just a minute ago. Are you a big pinball player? It felt like you were just bouncing off of guys out there, just
Uh,
wanting to get those extra yards.
no, I'm actually really bad at bowling, so yeah.
Yeah, and just what's the emotion you're feeling right now? You kind of touched on that in your opening statement, but just what's really on your mind right now?
Just again, thankful. I mean, the guys in the locker room, they, like I said, always pouring into me, and it's just like a big family. So I couldn't be more grateful.
Todd, how much love were you getting on the sideline from guys like CJ and
Oh, man.
Tyrell? And what's the best thing you heard on the sidelines tonight?
It was crazy. Honestly, I can't even really remember everything. It just felt like, I don't know, like a dream. But like in the locker room, that was picking me up and stuff, and that's just means a lot, and it's something I remember for sure.
And how wide were your eyes on the touchdown?
That was wide. That was pretty wide. Yep. Yep.
Describe that touchdown play for me. I mean, I guess just how it happened.
Yeah, so we had been running that play all week, like in practice for scout, and it's been working every week. And like Coach Jones said, like it's going to translate to the game. And so I was ready for it, and thankfully I was able to make a guy miss and score. And again, just super thankful. Good throw by BA. And BA, I mean, he was helping me out a lot back there, telling me what to do, protections, what run I had. So shout out to him as well.
What are you hoping to do in practice this week, preparing for Princeton? Just keep that roll going on the offensive side of the ball.
Like Coach Jacob says, just try to have our best week yet, and just try to give it our all effort. And like he said, put it to bed. Enjoy it now, put it to bed, and just start working.
Sounds good.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man. Congrats.
Appreciate
Great
it.
game. Tommy, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Talk about the game.
Talk about the game.
Great game on defense. Almost had a pick there. A lot of big. You felt you were everywhere today, man.
Yeah. So we started out pretty hot. I think we had 4 sacks through the first 12 plays. Me and Zach were talking about it, and our whole thing. Coach Jacobs already told you guys about how he wanted to start fast, and we had a little bit of payback on our minds from last year. So came out the games came out the gate like our hair was on fire, and certainly. In the second half, we kind of, there were a little bit of, just kind of missed assignments, and that's what's going to happen. Sometimes, younger guys step into the roles, and, communication is a big aspect of it. But, I couldn't be happier with the way our team is performing right now. We're really rolling. So.
Being a captain this year too. Just what's that like? You're a leader on the defense. You're the one communicating with guys, getting plays out there, and just stepping up. Just how different has that been for you this year?
Yeah, well, not unlike Ty Dowdy, I started off my career as a walk-on. So, coming in and, you just kind of accept the role that they give you. And, there's not much else to do except for work. And you turn it into something more. And, my guys ended up trusting me enough to be a captain. And I'm very thankful for that, thankful for God for putting me in that position. And, you just kind of accept that there are some responsibilities that come with it, and like you say, communication and making calls and getting guys set, or just the ins and outs of it all. But there's plenty of guys who do the same thing, and it's just been more of a. I think we're working well together as a unit right now. So.
And what's one thing you would tell all walk-ons out there as one yourself?
Opportunities are limited at the start, and there's going to be some discouraging times. I had plenty, and Ty's had plenty, and we've talked about them. I have plenty of friends right now who are walk-ons, and there's going to be a moment in your career that's going to be the deciding factor in whether or not you're going to get to build more playing time. And so, we look at our roster right now, and there are guys who are going to earn a lot more playing time based off their performance today and throughout the year so far. And, you know, it just, you never know when your moment could be. I would tell them, you know, just stay prepared like Ty did today, and, you know, show out when you get your opportunities. So.
How many interceptions, 2 straight games now? I mean, how does that make you feel, and how have you grown as a player over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so going into this season, I knew that probably one of my weaknesses was my coverage. And so I worked just restlessly in the offseason against our receivers, who Coach Jacobs talked about being one of the deepest, you know, position groups in our team. And then working with the other DBs, and, you know, there's just like so much work behind the scenes that doesn't really show. But now, you know, obviously, like you said, the 2 picks in the last 2 games, a lot of that is just other guys around me playing well. You know, they put me in the position to go be able to play the ball. And like I said, we've been communicating at a high level, so everybody's been on the same page. And it really comes down to the fact that it's a team game. And Coach Jacobs talks about being able to do our 111th. And, you know, just every now and then, it's your time to do your 111th. And, you know, some of it's luck, some of it's skill. But, you know, I'm very, very blessed to be in this position. So.
As a captain, how has this team grown from week 1 against Presbyterian to week 6 now against Samford?
Maturity has been, you know, just emotionally and, like, you know, physically too. But we have definitely matured. I would say we, you know, have our head kind of more on a level, you know, playing field than we did beforehand versus, you know, at the beginning of the year, we're kind of riding high off of last year's success, I think. And, you know, you kind of just rely on some of your team name, you know, the Mercer across the front of your jersey to do some of the work for you. And, you know, we kind of took it for granted, I think. But we found our identity now. And I think we're as hot as we've ever been as a team. And we're young. And so there's still going to be a lot of growing left to be done, which is exciting. You know, there's not really a limit, I think, on this team as to how far we can go, because we just keep getting better every week. So.
Second time in school history this team's been 4-0 in conference play. What do you think about that?
I didn't know that before. I'm excited about that, and we're going to be the first one to go 5-0 or 6-0 or however many it takes to break that record. We're going to, you know, that's obviously the goal, is to win every single game. And, you know, Coach Jacobs would talk about it. We can't really look back at this win. We can enjoy it in the moment, but there's still a lot of work to be done down the road to help secure that. So.
Tommy, you talked about staying hot, being hot. You're playing with a lot of great guys on defense, whether it's Zoc, Julian, Fox, Jordan Swain, so many different guys. Who's one guy that's really impressed you in these last few weeks, or really you're just like, man, hats off to him on the defensive side?
I would say this week in particular, our corners really stepped up. You know, ETSU wasn't, you know, their best performance just as a position group, and they knew that, and we had talked about it. And I mean, they played lights out today, and it makes your job so much easier as a safety when your corners play extremely well. And, you know, obviously our linebackers, Drew Clare played out of his mind today, and our D-line got after the pass. Like, there's just so much. It's a team game. Like I said, it's all up to your 111th. And it just felt like everybody did their 111th more consistently today than they had probably since I've played, you know, in a long time. So.
Yeah, I guess I got one more. You talked a lot about, you know, the coach's philosophy here, and also how you guys kind of kept track of the stats. You mentioned the sacks a little bit. With Coach Jacobs being so emphatic about stopping the run, how good is it? You know, you're a safety, so you're not always so involved in that, but do you guys still get fired up as a group when you, for the second week in a row, you basically just bottle them up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our defensive coordinator, Coach Brown, he's always of the mindset that if you can make a team one-dimensional, particularly just force them to pass, and you get the opportunity to pin your ears back, get after the passer, and then you can mix up your coverages. I mean, it's just so much easier to be able to make plays in the back end. And so, you know, we talk about that, and we talk about what we want our identity to be, and, you know, like physicality is really what it comes down to. And, you know, it comes down to like days in here when we're working with Coach Barr and in the weight room, and like just yes, that's really our identity as just a unit, and we're reminded of it often. So it doesn't ever really escape our minds. I think that's just kind of us. So.
Think of it?
I'm good.